Hello. Today I'd like to share with you some more English teaching tips. One thing that I've discovered is very important is keeping a very good log of what classes you've taught. In case you're wondering, yes, I learned the importance of this the hard way. One addition I make to my class log is if you look carefully, I'll put little sad faces, little smiley faces, or some angry faces. These smiley faces are really important. I write down the name of the lesson. If the lesson went really well, get the smiley face. If it went amazingly super happy well, big smiley face. If the lesson was kind of neutral, blank face, sad face. And if the students are very rude and angry, disrespectful, angry face. If they get this one, they don't get a fun lesson next week. You can take your class log, then color it in. Red for lessons that go badly, green for lessons that go well, yellow for lessons that go super fun, happy well. This is really good because you can look at your lessons and actually tell which lessons are good, which ones are bad. Like you can realize every time my balderdash lesson came up, it got all happy faces. But my word families part 2 lesson gets a lot of neutral faces. So this way you can actually improve your lessons by looking back and seeing what works, what doesn't work. You'll know what to avoid when you make future lesson plans. So if I add up all the smiley faces, I can realize that Boulder Dash, which was actually a review lesson, was my most successful. Then I can look at the lesson plan for Boulder Dash and realize, oh, okay, this is a variety lesson. It's not me teaching one thing. It's not one game going on for too long. It's a lot of short, little fun activities or short, little tests. Nothing is more than 10 minutes long. So variation, variety, that seems to be very successful. So after seeing this, I worked more variety into most of my lessons. So it was my second most successful lesson, Question Words Part 2. This was a very student-centered activity where I think I did less than 5 minutes of talking. I introduced the topic, handed out paper, told them to start interviewing and questioning, and they just went from there. So, variety, student-centered. What was my next most successful one was telling the time. I think that might be a bit of a fluke. That's a really boring lesson where I'm just at the top or at the front of the class teaching and there at the back of the class studenting. My least successful classes were the ones that used drill-type games like flashcards around the world, so I learned halfway through the year to avoid those. Another good thing is you can actually look for patterns to recognize, like this day, was that a bad lesson, or was I having a bad day? I look at the chart and I realize I'm actually teaching 3 different lessons over 4 periods. So it's not any of those lessons' fault. This day it was my fault. I was just having a bad day, not being fun or whatever for the students. I can also look and find other patterns. So see, these X's tell me it was a vacation. After every vacation, I never have a successful class. The only success I had after a vacation was this class, which was followed up by a really easy, fun game, just 20 questions where the students are picking things and the students are asking things. Again, very easy, not really teaching anything. I'm just there encouraging them to use the English they do know. Because I think it's important to pay attention to your lessons and see what works and what doesn't work, and then use that to make even better lessons. So a standard lesson plan of just logging what classes you've taught, you wouldn't learn these things. So by using my, patented smiley face technique, patent still pending, you can find out a lot more and through the year sort of tweak your lessons to make them more successful. And by the end of the year, I think your lessons do get quite a bit better. You start to look back at your earlier ones and cringe a little bit.